Welcome back, everybody. My name is Taylor Martin. This is the best EDC, and today I've got a pretty cool video for you because yet again we have some prototypes on the table. These are prototypes of the Urban EDC Supply special edition of the Baby Barlow by Justin Lundquist. It's a modern take on a traditional knife. We'll get into some of the differences between this and traditional knives. Before I go any further, I want to thank Yongsu from Urban EDC Supply for entrusting me with these prototypes because these are the finals, and after I finish this video, they're being shipped off to Italy to be produced. They are production knives. I'm really stoked on this. So without any more delay, let's do the damn thing. Dylan from this office actually suggested I change that up and not just say let's do the thing, but say let's do the damn thing. And you know what? I kind of like it, so that might stick. Let's do the damn thing. So here we are with the Lundquist Baby Barlow Titanium Urban Series, and these are exclusive to Urban EDC Supply. The Baby Barlow has been made before with G10 scales and, you know, one-offs and limited runs, but this will be the exclusive to Urban EDC Supply, and these will actually be made by Fox Knives. So I said after this video, I'm actually shipping them back and then they're being sent to Italy. These are the prototypes that Fox Knives will use to create these, to produce these. So these were actually designed by Justin Lundquist, you may remember as the designer of the Kizer Feist. Such an interesting little blade, a very minimalist front flipper that is a gentleman's knife. People really, truly love this knife. It was not necessarily my favorite knife ever, but it is such an interesting one that I like to have it in my collection, and I have carried it plenty. I've used it. The attention to detail is really, I think, what sets Justin apart from a lot of other knife designers, and there are so many subtle little cues that you see in this knife that you also see in this knife, and that's one thing that really, really pushes it over the top for me. One of the things is how it opens. It is non-traditional. There's nothing traditional about a front flipper. It is such an interesting way to open a knife. I don't think it's super ergonomic, especially on the Feist and a lot of other front flippers. I've talked about that in the past, but these are different. These are quite different. As you look around this knife, you'll notice that there's not really a great way to open the knife unless you notice this little bit here. There's a little bit of jimping on the top. Clip on the bottom, put your hand here like this, and if you pull your finger back, so push down on that jimping and pull back towards your right, and the blade will fly out. And they're calling this, at least according to the website, an out the front flipper tab. So different than your front flipper, it's an out the front flipper tab. I've not seen many knives like this, but I actually owned a flipper knife like that before that had the jimping up on the top, and you pull back towards yourself and it opens. It's really great, and the ergonomics of this, at least the opening, are great. So the action on this is absolutely phenomenal, and that's because it is on caged ceramic bearings. I really like when a knife is on bearings because that action is just so nice. It really, truly aids that fidget factor, and this one is one that has that fidget factor for a number of reasons. One, this is not too harsh on your finger. The knurling or the jimping on that out the front flipper tab, it's not harsh on your finger. You can just, I've been doing this all day really. And you do have a steel inset lock bar here. You have great lockup on it. It's about 50%, and it doesn't really wear on your thumb. It's very smooth, but your thumb can still grab it just fine. It's great. The detent on this is perfect. I think out of all the times I flipped this open, I think I didn't fully deploy the blade like once or twice. The size of it is actually based on a number 25 pattern size, and this one is actually sized to perfectly fit inside the coin pocket, or what I like to call the utility pocket, much to the chagrin of a lot of watch fanatics and people who just like to call it the watch pocket. It's not a watch pocket, so come at me. And what I carry in mind usually is something about the size of the TPT slide from Big Idea Design. I carry this, or sometimes a Leatherman Micra, or a Giltech Ruck, or whatever little tool I have on me. That's what usually goes in there, as long as it sits deep in the pocket or is clipped. This one obviously has a clip, but what I really like about this opening system is that there's not really any chance of this deploying in your pocket at all. There's nothing on this that could snag your pocket in any way, and for you to make that sort of action in your pocket inadvertently is probably pretty close to impossible. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I mean, I don't know of what it would take for me to do that in my pocket accidentally. And then opposite the show side of the knife, you have your deep carry titanium pocket clip. This is a milled clip and it's integrated. It's totally seamless. You don't see the screws for how this is attached, and that's because they are inside. It's actually one screw inside the handles or scales. You have to actually take the knife apart to take that clip off, which could be annoying if you needed to adjust the clip. I don't typically do a ton of adjusting of my clips, so the only thing that would make me want to have to adjust this is bending it out, and it is milled titanium, so hopefully that wouldn't happen. Not impossible, it could happen, but with this being in your coin pocket, I don't imagine that would happen too often. What you're getting with the Baby Barlow is a 2-inch clip point M390 blade, and I really like it. The blade is small. I mean, 2 inches is not huge. The blade stock, or the thickness, is 0.09 inches or 2.29 millimeters, and then your handle is 2.93 inches or 7.44 centimeters. It is solid titanium, and then your overall length is 5 inches or 12.7 centimeters. I wish I could tell you how much these actually weigh. They are pretty lightweight, but I don't have the official weight, and I got them in from the mail today. I actually had to take Alex to the hospital because we had a little bit of a scare. She had a fall. We had to go check on the baby, and these have to go out tomorrow morning back to Yangsu. So I don't have a ton of time with these. They just came in, and I've spent a little bit of time with them, wrote down some notes, but I did not have the opportunity to get the weight on these. What I really like about this, though, is the design of the blade. This right here just screams traditional knife blade. I love that clip point. You guys know I'm a huge fan of clip points. I actually, for my own personal collection, just bought a mini Crooked River, mainly because I love that clip point. I actually dropped it today, which was really sad, but I love this blade shape, and this is just that, or an old traditional on a smaller scale. You do have this nail nick here, which is really just for design, but one of those cues that you get from the Kizer Feist is the shape of everything. Everything from your handles to the top of the blade or the back of the blade are rounded. There is no hard surface, nothing to stick out or catch. It just feels great and smooth in the hands, even the top or back of the blade. You do get this little swedge here, so this isn't actually rounded, but you do have a little swedge there, and I just love the look of this blade. The handle is a little different. The reason for that is it is a Baby Barlow. So if you're not familiar with the old Barlow knives, this is my Barlow that I had growing up. This was the first pocket knife I ever owned, and just look, this one has been through it. I've used it for a very long time, but you can just see where those cues come from. The design cues come from the old Barlow. You have the handle that widens towards the base. You have that sharp clip point. It's just a much nicer, much more gentlemanly take on an old design that was a classic. Like, whose grandpa didn't have this, or some sort of Boker tree brand knife, which of course that's a different blade shape, a sheep's foot, or the old timers, you know, the old timer with the clip point. Like, whose grandpa didn't have at least one of these 3 knives? And that's what the Lundquist Baby Barlow is based on. It's paying homage to these old traditional knives that our fathers and our grandfathers carried. Of course, there's one more that's a timeless classic, not a clip point, just a standard blade, but the case sodbuster. Just anything in this realm, an old slip joint. That's what this is just paying homage to. There is another that pays homage to those, which I would call a modern traditional, and that is the Benchmade proper with the clip point. This is one of my all-time favorite knives. I love this knife, and this one right here is just, you know, it's a little cousin, which is made of much nicer materials. You know, instead of S30V, you're getting that M390, which M390 is a super steel. It is highly resistant to corrosion. It has really great edge retention. It's not too terribly difficult to work with as far as putting an edge back on it. It is a little more difficult than like your S35 VN or S30V, but in my experience, this thing holds its edge for so long. I love M390 steel, and to see it on this knife is just, it's a pleasure. When it comes down to it, I think Justin knocked it out of the park. He is one of my favorite knife designers only because he does things different. And it's one of those, like with Serge Panchenko or Vox, you know when you see this that it was designed by Justin Lundquist. And a lot of that comes down to those titanium handles and the way that they're perfectly rounded, the way the back of the knife is rounded. It's just, everything is smooth and flowy. I think he knocked it out of the park with these. But once again, this is the Urban series of the Baby Barlow from Justin Lundquist. They are going to be manufactured by Fox Knives, and these are available for pre-order right now, these 3 at least. You have the all titanium with the seamless titanium inlay, and this one is actually a little cheaper than these 2. It's $199 for the pre-order, but the full retail will be $219 once the pre-order finishes, and these 2 are actually $215. and they will go up to $239 once the pre-order is completed. So your G10s are a little more expensive, $215 for the pre-order and $199 for the solid titanium, and these will actually ship early November. They are available for pre-order right now. Just look at that blade shape. I absolutely love clip points. It's got to be one of my favorite blade shapes. It is a little small, like I can only get about 3 fingers on it. So when it comes to this knife, there is one more comparison that I think we can draw to, not because they're so similar, but because it gets a little bit of hate for the size. And that is another Urban EDC Supply exclusive. Youngsu sent this to me a while back. I did an unboxing with the Fox Knife Suru. So this will be manufactured by Fox Knives, so that's another good comparison there. You have a little better ergonomics on the Suru and a little bit more cutting edge, but what you're getting is almost the amount of cutting edge out of this Baby Barlow in a much smaller form factor. I mean, look how much shorter the Baby Barlow is than the Suru. You've got almost an inch shorter. You can only get about 3 fingers of grip on this, but because it widens here at the base, you can actually get a pretty good purchase on this knife. Your pinky is not gripping at all, but I can get a solid purchase on this knife, and this would be perfect for an EDC blade. Something small, something lightweight, something that you can put in that 5th pocket and totally forget about. It is all about utility and just getting the job done. That's why our grandfathers used these knives, and their fathers, they didn't carry knives because they looked great or because, you know, they were flashy or whatever. They carried them because they got the job done, and that's what this knife is designed to do. Just get it done. Get the job done, put it back in your pocket, go about your day. This knife will have no problem doing that. That is going to do it for this video. If you found it helpful and you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button down below and subscribe to see more stuff like this in the future, and hit that notification bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. If you want to support what I'm doing here and these things look cool to you, you can pre-order them right now using the links down below. If you click through and use those links, those are actually affiliate links, and they give me a little bit of a kickback if you purchase anything. So that's a way that you can support the channel by getting the stuff you want to get anyway. If you want to support us even further, you can go to patreon.com/bestdamnedc. Of course, you can find us around the web. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at bestdamnedc. You can find me, Taylor Martin, on Twitter and Instagram at CasperTech. And until next time, carry on.